3 pages, reduced to 1. You don't have to acknowledge Pussycat, right, and cockroach in your testing, right? Reduced to 1 page. The acknowledgement has 3 pages, 2 lines. All right.
Then let's go straight to your abstract. No, it's a good idea, but you have not really cited or established the recommendations here. Because actually the abstract is a summary of your work. And then when you really put it down hanging, it doesn't speak well for research writing.
So you finish. So on the abstract, you have a problem with your abstract. Your abstract is 225 words, which is even lower than the undergraduate, right? In the text, you have this book. In the text, it says on page 5, the abstract should be 250 for bachelor, 500 for masters, 1,000 for doctorate. Yours is 225, which means that somewhere along the line there is something not right. So your abstract, and then in your abstract there are really no facts. You read the abstract, it doesn't tell you anything. So which means that something is not right with your abstract.
So we go straight to the work. That is chapter 1. When you look at your presentation, I argue with you for the fact that you are talking of Cameroon as being uncivilized. So my worry is that's in which context are you really taking Cameroon to be uncivilized?
Is that a question you asked?
Yes, I'm asking before I go on. Because first of all, what is civilization? Well, obviously we were looking at
just ask a question.
In the eyes of the Western world.
No, you have not asked that question. You said it on the category.
I want to know exactly the line you are
on page 3. This was the case in our uncivilized Cameroon. What do you mean by uncivilized Cameroon?
I want to say this is the case on the past. That's why I use uncivilized. In the past.
That's the past what? Past from where to where?
Ambiguous. It's not really clear.
In the past from where? Which means not clear, right? In the past from where? In the past, yesterday was past month. Or are you talking of Monday or Tuesday?
I was talking about the period.
The period is not stated. So which means that it's not clear. So rephrase.
Of Cameroon and not gender bias. So it hangs up. If somebody who does not know about this gender bias issue reads it, will not understand what we are really talking about. So right to even page 5, nothing is said about gender bias. So you need to readjust and make sure that you go straight to this issue of...
May I interrupt, madam? In page 5, I think we have something about gender, the definition of gender.
Yeah, it is there. I'm saying that it's still until page 5, okay, which is too long for you, because if somebody is just reading these first pages, we appear as if we are writing about the educational system of Cameroon and not gender bias, and nobody who is writing on gender bias or home economics will complete his or her introduction without making mention of ladies like Ellen Richards.
I think the point, to cut the point short, what we are saying is from pages 1 to 4 is irrelevant. We don't give a damn whether the colonial, look at the title, gender bias in teaching process. So we go to the history of Cameroon. East Cameroon went to London and West Cameroon came to Jerusalem. That to be irrelevant. Right? Gender bias, what she's saying, we want to start at the beginning. What is the problem with home economics and gender bias? The history of Cameroon's educational system is irrelevant. I think that's the point. So to me, I've just answered pages 1 to 4 irrelevant.
Okay. So please, I have a question just to ask you. Tell this audience where it is found and it should not be numbered. That's tend to the statement of the problem. All I
The problem is found in page 8. Number 1, 3.
So to me, when I read, I understood them as recommendations and importance and not problems. And when you rearrange it, you should not number. We write research in paragraphs and we don't have to number number 1, number 2.
I think the question you were supposed to ask is, where in Bosch does the statement of the problem come, before or after the literature review?
I think it's before.
Are you sure? Did you read this book?
I did.
So, did you have a copy?
I do.
Alright, so show me where it says.
I don't
It
have
says, if you go on page 6, it says literature review then project. It says you have your own book. I wrote the book. So the literature review comes after. And why does it come after? It comes after because you have what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to find out what others have done, and then from there you do the job. What has happened in the past is that students have the objective before the literature review. They go to the field, they start doing the work, only to come back and find out that what they have done before has been done, but they're already 3/4 into the project. So in BOSS, the literature review comes after the objectives and whatever come after the literature review, which means the reader knows what others have done, and then to see whether whatever you're doing is either copy what others are doing or new. Please, we are writing for BOSS. We are given this book.
So let's turn to page 8. That is, the sentence begins from the third line, from the top. From 4 boys decided to choose cookery as one of their GCE subjects. So I wish to find out from you what is offered in home economics at the ordinary level. Is it cookery or something else?
It's cookery.
No. It's food and nutrition.
Cookery, food and nutrition, and then cookery is the practical.
Yeah, it's not the whole subject. The whole subject is when you look at the transcripts or even
Yeah, it's
the
food and
subjects.
nutrition for Form 4 and 5 for the GCE, and then home economics from class 1 to 3. So I used home economics here. Okay, I used cookery because it's the practical part of it.
It's wrong.
Yeah, I left out food and nutrition.
No, you have to write food and nutrition because that is the certificate that they take or they obtain.
You have understood. So the topic is should be food and nutrition.
Yes, and not cookery. And then we go to page 2, paragraph 9. Why did you use both research questions and hypotheses?
I used research questions and hypotheses to guide me. The research questions and the hypotheses will guide me right to the end where I'll do my findings. And that's why I use both.
So what determines, I'm still going on. What determines the choice of your targeted population?
When materials and methods.
Yes.
Let's go back to this, your page 10, where you are, where you have your objectives and what you want. On page 10, specific objectives to verify the influence of parents on the gender inequity in home economics. Right? Generally in research, we don't use the same words, right? You have gender all over the place, right? You don't use, and that's what's giving you problems. You don't, when you write your objectives, the words that appear in your title don't appear in your overall objective, they don't appear in the specific objectives. So somewhere along the line, gender everywhere. Rephrase that. So, because if you don't do that one, you run into trouble.
So there are some of those corrections that you will see them when you get the book. Then let's turn to page 41. What determines the choice of your targeted population?
The targeted population is usually larger than the sampled population. And so I decided to take a larger population for the targeted population, and then the sample population became narrow in that area. After pilot testing some schools, I decided now to increase, after balloting, increase the number of schools that I will do for the sampling population.
I'm asking of the determinants.
Yes.
What determines the choice?
You have a sample size. Let me rephrase the question. You have 16,000 total students, 108. Then you chose 276.81. Why didn't you choose 1,000? Why didn't you use all of them? Why did you choose?
Because I wanted it to be very effective. I didn't want to have a small sample.
How did you determine effectiveness? Make mini, more? What is the criteria?
No, I pilot tested and we verified by the Cronbach level.
Pilot tested is what?
I selected some schools and tested it to make sure that the face validity is okay.
And then the face validity tells you how many to choose.
I decided to choose by balloting so that I could have how many I could work with.
Okay, so which means it is you who decided the balloting?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so we wanted them. So let's turn to page 42. What is the significance of this table to your work? That's page 44. I mean page 42, please. I'm sorry.
This table is a sample of the studies. This is exactly those who answered the questionnaire. And it shows you, yes, this is 42.
Population of home economic students, teachers, and funds in Mozambique.
This is the population that the enlarged population, and so I had to know how many people I had to work to, and so we had this large population of 16,007 for students, 108 for teachers, and 20 funds.
Your source is not clear because I don't know whether it's subject association or it's the regional delegation of culture and which date where it's still written. That's still on that page, where you have source. So you make it clearer.
42?
Yes.
Source.
Source.
But what year? You don't put the source.
Yes. That's it.
1 year stated.
Okay.
So you should include the date.
Okay,
because
date.
that's the population varies, can vary, right?
Yeah, and year.
Somebody can come and go to 2014. Then we go to town like we know.
So let's turn to page 49.
Let's go on that. Is it regional delegation of culture? Right? That tells you the number of students who want economics. I'm sorry.
No.
Regional delegation, I think it should be national education someplace now.
This is
Source, subject association, regional delegation.
I use both subject association and regional delegation of culture because this involves the funds. Yeah, you have subject association and regional delegation and regional delegation of culture. We have the funds involved here, and that's why I mentioned culture because they had to tell me how many funds were involved and the sub-chiefs and all that.
That regional delegation is a reference, not
were there two forms of data that you collected or is one? Because we cannot understand.
For the funds?
You got two.
If it's two, then make it clear because the dates will be different.
Okay, there were two involved here because they involved two different delegations.
Right, so if you also say subject and delegation, it should be a reference, right? This subject and delegation is
Not
right.
reference.
That's right. So the subject and delegation should be, because, I don't know, that's what I asked. The subject and delegation is a reference. And I should be able to go to that reference, yes, and find out whether that's a reference. Subject delegation should be found someplace, so that if I want to go there, don't remember I have to sign this.
Put them on
It should be the reference.
Subject association, you put the year, the page.
That's it.
Then regional delegation of culture, the year, the date, I mean the page.
Same year.
And that should go to the reference. That's
That will also appear in your references.
all right. Next.
So let's go to page 41. Page 42. Please, I'm on page 49.
Okay.
Chapter 4. Presentation, data analysis, and the rest. So here, first, I've not seen any introduction to this. And the results obtained are showing that everything was 100%. So how?
These were not results, but the return of questionnaires from the field.
So let's go ahead.
No, just wait. On that one, you said that in order for your questionnaire, because you don't want to come back into the same thing, you said on page 45, the research questionnaire were administered personally by the researcher and her research assistants.
When I went to school, I had to use the home economics teacher to be my assistant, and so she helped me to administer the questionnaire, because she would easily have access to the students and some other home economics teachers.
So they became your research assistant. So can you clarify that, right? So you should say then that you have enumerators and explain who the enumerators are, which is really what you're following in your methodology. You don't own assistants, right? Research assistants in research are the master degree PhD holders that assist professors in working. So when you are a master degree student, so that you are having research assistants, you are beginning to wonder whether we should even have this meeting, because I've written here, if you already have research assistant, that means you're a professor now, then they should not even be here. Research assistants in the university system are master degree PhD students who assist professors. So when you, a master degree student, have a research assistant, then maybe we are wasting our time. You already have a degree, we shouldn't be wasting our time, right? So what you should say was that in your methodology, since the investigator, in order to facilitate the work, the investigator had, we call it, whatever the name of that is, enumerators, that's what it is. You have enumerators, A-N-U-M-E-R, enumerators, who were blah, blah, blah to assist you. Please, not for research assistants.
Thank you. We go to page 50. According to this table, the majority of the students used were females. Were you also becoming gender biased to balance up? Or what happens that you use mostly females rather than boys? And I know that in class 5s outside there, the classes are really mixed up.
Already I mentioned here that very few male students do these subjects. And I think I was even lucky to have this number of male students who answered my questionnaire. So in Form 4, for example, we had more male students. And then when they go to Form 5, they drop. They even, more of the male students even drop because some of them say it's too expensive or their parents don't want them to do it. That is why I found more female students than males.
Thank you, but it's not made clear here that you were only using students offering economics.
I did.
It appears as if you were using all.
I mentioned it in the people who answered the questionnaires. Students of offering home economics in Desert. Now I want you to know, some students dropped somewhere in the line. They started from Form 3, and as they got to Form 4, they had to drop. I had to know also why they dropped. And that's why I decided not to take only students who offer home economics. But for Form 4 and 5, I had to use only students who offered home economics. I started from Form 3 because that is where the examination class starts, and that's where people start choosing their career. But why did they drop in Form 4? I had to know. But very few boys were used.
That is not clear. You have to specify, again, it's a problem of methodology. You say on page 42, in all 200 students, 67 home economics, you don't specify the 200 students, whether they were here. You have to specify where you use all students and then where you use home economics. That's all we're saying.
Okay. You have answered the second question because I was about to ask you why you decided to use Form 3.
Yes, because that's where career is chosen.
Okay, let's go to pages 51 to 53. You have used up to 3 methods of analysis. That is the pie chart, the bar, presentation of results. That is the case.
I decided to do that because I wanted variety. To show that one could also use all these charts in her research work. I do not want to have just one throughout. When we were taught statistics, we were taught all these charts, and I wanted to explore it in my work.
So we go to referencing. So you had a good attempt, but you still form roles along the line. So in present research writing, we use the APA system of references. There's the American psychology,
APA.
So we use it. And then, for instance, when you are okay, no, I've really noted there because there are many things wrong there. So I'm just citing the right thing that you don't instead. So you get it and others. For books, you start with the name of the author or authors, the date, year, title, publishing town, house. Then for articles, you start with name of author. Yes, so you go back to the first book because you stated it clearly. I just review, look at it. The arrangement is good. It's just like being for the upper.
Right on references, there are references in the text that don't appear in the references, and there are references in the reference section that don't appear in the text. Those have to be done.
So far, there's a page or even 1.5 pages decided to talk about yourself as concerns with economics or gender bias. I know that page 7. I'm sorry to take us back here because it's a general remark I have to make. And to the best of my knowledge, I know that home economics, the introduction of home economics in Cameroon is as far back as the introduction of Western education. And when the missionaries came with the gospel, their wives introduced this so-called domestic science. I'm just seeing home economics. And
I think, Madam, excuse me, I think from the beginning I mentioned how home economics started. When the pastor's wives came to introduce religion, they brought along their wives who taught women how to do little skills in home economics, and eventually they passed it to their girl children. I think somewhere I mentioned
so
it.
it's not there, because that's our worry. So when you go back to it, you have to bring that transition.
I think while we are on that topic, right, when people are all making noise, we are home economics, that's why I brought it. What really is home economics? In your book, I don't see the definition. There's no home economics, there's no definition. That's the first thing with your work. There are no definitions.
In my
the first thing to do in your work is that you have to have a chapter which shows the number of acronyms and the definition. So you're talking about home economics, nowhere they say what home economics is. So now she's talking about home craft, you're talking about cookery, you're talking about
Madam, excuse me, when I in my introduction, I defined home economics by Okore and let me see.
We need to see that transition.
Go, let's go. What is home economics?
Home economics is a trade that involves housecrafts, cookery, and many other trades as regards the home.
Many others. Teaching is a course that also involves housecraft, whatever, and many others. And so is mechanics, and so is vehicles, right? So to me, somewhere here on page 4, that's I think the first problem with this one. A definition of home economics states that home is a skill-oriented field study that is capable of equipping learners with skills that create room for self-reliance and paid employment, which aims at reducing unemployment and improving manpower. It could be anything in the world. I can put geography there, I can put French, I can put history, I can put whatever. Listen again, go to page 4.
If you put all those things, not orientate the children towards...
Listen, madam, you're arguing. Go to page 4, we're on page 4. Read a definition. A definition of home economics by blah 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 states that home economics is a skill-oriented field of study that is capable of equipping learners with skills that create room for self-reliance and paid employment, which aims at reducing unemployment improvement. Mechanics does it, doesn't it? Teaching does it. Frying makara does it. Right? Frying puff does it. I can put here the definition of puff making states that it's a skill-oriented field that is capable of equipping learners with skills that create room for self-reliance. Right? That's frying puff. That is making cooking. That is making cooking concha. That is cleaners. I've employed 17 people. They still clean. To clean, you have to have skills that clean, right? I think the point I'm trying to make here is that home economics didn't start today, and that's what your problem is saying. I attended a meeting in Chang, which said about home economics. It is called now home science, and if you went to the internet, you would have seen. Home economics is that which equips all of us, everything in the home. So home economics is not cookery, and I think that is where, if you look on your page 61, right? It says one of the possible explanations, where you're talking about teachers. Now you are saying then that if teachers have to teach, they themselves should know, and that most of the teachers have HND, and which they are on page 2. Majority of them have HND, qualifications in home economics. So the question I'm asking you, is somebody with HND qualified to teach in the secondary school, or is that not the problem of home economics? Because HND are not qualified to teach. So if you did not even do the course, I think I will get it. If you did not even do the HND, which means that one of the problems of home economics, then you don't have the qualified staff. And so when you have somebody with HND, or somebody like me, I have been posted to teach in Starlight, and I got there and I meet a principal. I don't want to teach chemistry, I don't want to teach physics, I don't want to teach French. So because I can cook, and I can't even boil an egg, this me sitting here. So I do what I say, then for me for coming, they don't pay money, put me for home economics, now I don't teach cooking. So if the day that I come, I teach. That's, I think, one of the problems, right? So home economics, it's more than cookery craft. It's called home science. This decor, how we arrange chairs. Look at your here, and that is why this bench is here. Why should I make the benches this way? You've cut the cloth. How do I do? Now that's what we call home science. Everything. This is what your premises is doing. Home economics is home science. It teaches how everything about what happens in the home. So it is not cookery, it is not whatever, it is furnishing, it is what I buy a green cooker, how I make my furniture, how I make my bed, which bedsheet should I have, which clothes should I wear. You are looking where nice to do. That is home science. You look bigger to be ready for that one. So when your child comes, I don't know whether you go to school, I come in church in Baptist. You have a girl that comes in and the breasts are showing, right? That is home science. There is a way to dress. Or if I'm fat, you know me, I have big buttocks, and I wear that clothes that is tight, like I wore one this morning. That is home science. You should dress the way it appears. You see how your cheek moves very penny, that's home science. Dress the way it should be. There are people who wear green clothes and they jump box with the red one. The colors crash. That is home science. You mean there should be something in the home. That is that. Are you getting that skill? So let's get a better definition for home economics.
In other words, the definitions you are giving here, you are borrowed from some people. They have condemned those definitions, which means you should create your own. As an experienced educationist in the area of home economics, they are not condemning you, but that you have married or you have borrowed information that is not adequate. Because if you look at those definitions, you do not include any. You mean that anything that you are doing is home economics. But then you can still defend yourself. If you are arranging these benches, that's home economics. Because at home, what you do at home, so it is for you to argue it out. This is a defense. But if you don't defend it well, then not that I have asked you to give it complicated questions, but for you to put into practicability, what is home economics? Is it only based in cooking food?
Home economics embodies all that is done in the home and also in the society, because if we talk about home, it's going into industries, it's going into hotels and all the like. And so it doesn't actually, it's not limited only to the home. It's even out of the home. That's why we talk of a career in home economics.
All right.
Thank you, Madam.
Cover page. Your title says Gender Bias in the Teaching Learning Process of Home Economics. The case of further of us. So we don't, not a case study, it's a thesis. So I've cancelled the word case. Right? Case means you're doing case study. So you should put it in secondary school, remove the word case, because it's not a case study. So it's gender bias in the teaching learning. Sorry, I don't know anything about education, that's why I'm sitting here. Teaching learning means somebody's teaching, right? Mm-hmm. It's somebody here teaching and somebody's learning. So you are looking here at somebody teaching home economics and somebody learning. That's my understanding. I'm looking at teaching learning. But if you go to pages 8, 9, I'll go to pages 8. So you go pages 8 and pages 9, and you go to pages 47. So you just put your hand on pages 8 and 9, pages 47, and your conclusion, whatever that is. Can you read me your conclusion?
This study sought to find out the attitude of parents, students, the community, and teachers towards the students' choice of home economics as a course of study and as a career in selected secondary schools in Mezan Division in the northwest region of Cameroon. The study therefore established the following conclusions.
So, to me, your work is based on people choosing home economics, right? Yes. Your title says you're looking at the teaching learning. Relate that to you.
The teaching learning process guides the children to choose. And so if this is not handled properly, most children will not like the subject.
Your topic is you want to look at teaching learning. Your work is on how they choose. The subject is teaching learning. So you are doing your work on teaching learning. So let me answer. In teaching learning.
Yes.
But her work is on how they choose.
Yes,
so
it is the
choose. Right? Your job here is to find out how they choose. So if you are doing work on how I choose, look at your questionnaire. Go back to your questionnaire. Teaching and learning. If you are doing a research on teaching and learning, then you are talking about how to teach. But your work is on how you choose. Look at your questionnaire. Right? Your topic says about teaching and learning. But you're talking about how students choose. Right? Look at your questionnaire. I offer home economics. I'm asking your supervisor. Your topic here is on teaching and learning.
No, it's correct.
Right? No. You are saying your
You are not
topic.
educationist, madam. You are an agriculturist.
I will not talk agriculture.
Compare yourself to that.
Can you answer that question?
Why can't they?
teaching learning. I think I got in my literature review. I think I mentioned qualification of teachers and teachers' attitude.
Madam, look at your question. I offer home economics at secondary school. Right? Look at your question in page 84. I offered. So the person offered and did not offer.
84.
Yeah, your questionnaire.
Okay.
Your name. I offered economics at primary school, at whatever, and all of the above. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So where is the teaching here now?
This questionnaire goes to, I think this is for the cultural heads. The teaching learning process in the questionnaire actually goes to students and teachers. The cultural heads and the parents are there to support, because we see what is their influence on gender bias.
Go to page 80. There's history, geography, and whatever, right?
Yes.
Then others don't choose history. Others don't choose geography. Is there bias there?
I'm talking here on home economy. If I were to talk about history and geography, I should have brought a background of
What I'm saying is that your logic, the logic here is that there is a bias.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
People are forced, everybody takes all those subjects. But then when we now come to Form 4, people don't take because there is gender bias. And I'm asking you that the only compulsory courses asked by the state are English, French, and mathematics. Which means that people would also take history, right? We also take geography, we take biology, we take chemistry. But people also come to Form 4 and don't choose those subjects. Is there gender bias?
Madam, why I said there's gender bias because the gender is drastically reduced on the part of the boys, or none at all is there. That's why there's a bias.
If boys don't take French, is there a problem? Why is it so important that boys must do cooking and home economics? Because that's your premises. Your premises all along is that if boys don't take home economics, Cameroon will come to an end. Is there a problem?
Madam, I feel that this is a very important subject and should even be made compulsory. It should be one of the compulsory subjects.
Shouldn't history also be compulsory? Shouldn't mathematics be compulsory? I think let's not get emotional. We are doing work. If you want to put a job problem. You have made it sound as if shouldn't French be compulsory? It is. To me, I couldn't care less. I would have asked French to be compulsory. Shouldn't mathematics be compulsory? But are we together? So when
if you don't know home economics, you can even die. You can even die of.
I think let's not get emotional.
I agree.
Right? Your logic is not strict. You make it by saying that if you don't for Form 3, somehow the world must come to an end, but your logic doesn't make sense. So in presenting your problem statement, you defeat it. That's what we're trying to say. This is a research project. We're not going to be emotional. Because the only courses asked by English, French, and mathematics. There is history, which is not chosen. There is French, which is not compulsory. There is geography, which is not compulsory. So don't come here and just give us a whole long biography about what we set up at school. That's irrelevant. So the point we're saying here is that use facts. This is science, not emotions. So do scientific job. And we say, if home economics is important, show us where home economics is. And let us not get whether it's listening. Because to me, I have not seen what is so earth-shaking if boys don't take home economics. Or if they don't take, they don't do. There are no facts here to show you. There are boys who take French, there are those who don't take. There are those who take history, and the world has not come to an end. So I don't see the facts here. That's what I'm saying. We're dealing with the science, not the emotions. So there are chefs, and that's why I'm saying that if you define, if you have done the literature review properly, you would have seen that the best chefs are men. Right? So the facts here don't show that. Let's go to page 40. Okay, that was the problem about sampling, right? There is something we did not justify to us